We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
A motion by Gary,
Second that?
second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This time we have time for public comment. Anybody wish to speak?
You go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm just here for
Oh, okay. No, actually, I guess I will make a quick comment. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Adam Florin. Been in the area since about 1999 when I married Mary Ann Torgerson. And, you know, we've raised our family in this area for all that time. And, you know, we've always been very proud of our school. And we've you know, seeing, you know, what's happening in the political spectrum right now. There's some things going on, you know, at the national level and even at the local level that, you know, we would certainly hope to try to help resolve and try to help our community get more, be more involved with the community and start help bring everybody together and have an understanding. And so I guess I'm just really here to kind of, you know, watch the process of the meeting. I've never been to the school board meeting before, been to them over in Rushford, but never here. And I just like to sit in and kind of listen in. So thank you.
No, thanks for coming. We don't often get,
I heard that.
I mean, we have it open, you know, you
People
can watch it any day, but.
Yeah,
Yep.
people log on and watch us.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's better when you're in person.
Okay.
Okay. Consent items. Do we have a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion, and a second. Discussion. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all. Discussion items. District signage.
We just got done with our facility committee meeting. As you know, these were the drawings that Wild exhibit. Craig
Stanislavski.
Okay. Stanislavski came up with, and then after he looked at the buildings and looked at what we really needed, and came to the facility meeting, the facility committee asked him to, basically hired him to design signs that would really do what we're asking to do. And he said these signs would not do what we really wanted them to do. So the sign at the beginning of the teardrop that really would be the directional sign would be much larger, and would also be constructed in a way that it was easier to read from a distance. So, because as people are driving up, they need to know where to go, they need to be able to see it, it needs to be visible. The letters need to be very, he used the word pop. And then the main entrance, there's nothing that shows this is really the main entrance. So we talked about building an awning out in front, and so he's going to design that. He's going to design the home of the Hurricanes, because the beginning, the facade above the gym is gym entrance. It's not level, and so if you put something on there that is square, it's just going to highlight the fact that what is behind it is not. And so he's going to design that to really kind of hide the flaw. And then the preschool is going to do a sign that will be on the preschool building that there will be consistency in lettering, not necessarily consistency in color, because for the preschool building, an anodized gold would match that building better, and for the elementary building, the kind of brushed steel matches the Art Deco better. But the font would be the same and would be the thing that ties the signs together. So he has been now commissioned to draw that. he will hopefully have the drawings done for the November 16th meeting,
And then under that awning?
or
is there
November
going-
18th, November,
The second meeting.
Second, yeah.
yeah.
Underneath the awning would be the letters main entrance? Was that part of that? That
That's what we
awning?
talked about.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Cause he said by doing signage on the building, it would be less money involved, because you'll have landscaping, dealing, holes and all that other stuff. so.
And it wouldn't be blocked by parked cars.
Right. So,
And it was also look classier.
Yeah.
And he said he's been in Houston, his business is in Houston, but he said, he's been at the high school, but he never really saw the preschool or the elementary school. And he said, these are two really cool buildings. And so he said, you need a sign that's as classy as the building, and what was drawn that is not gonna be classy at all.
So we'll have more on that second meeting in November.
Okay.
The other thing we talked about was the garage, correct?
Mhm.
And we've been talking about building a garage for, 2 years now. And the last discussion we had was looking at putting a garage over here by this parking lot, by the high school, in that grassy area. So Quinn's gonna go out and get some quotes to figure out what the cost would be for that.
And we don't, last time we talked about building construction, possibly doing it as their class project. There were not enough students that signed up for building construction. The building construction is not offered this year. So if it's something that we want to do this spring, it can't be something the building construction does.
So we figure we get quotes on it, and if it comes to be where we don't wanna spend that kind of money for that type of project, and we want the students to do it at a later date, we'll kind of,
At least we'll have it drawn up, so it's something.
we'll have some idea on the cost. So, anybody have any questions on that?
Is it a garage?
It's a 3-car garage.
Is it
Just
the
for
same-
cars?
Well, we can make it into storage.
Is it the same plan
also.
as last year?
It's basically the same plan. So instead of having just an open
Bay.
3-bay garage, it will have 2 walls on the inside. So then if we wanted to have one of those bays for storage, it is a self-contained area.
And who is gonna store stuff in there? We don't know.
Well, we do have, the preschool has stuff that's kind of piled in places where it shouldn't be because they lost their storage. And MNVA lost their storage, so we do have a pod behind the school that is not really the best place to store things either.
Yeah, I just think there might be a lot of people that want that storage. I'm guessing Drama has stuff they wanna store. I mean, that's what I'm just thinking
Well,
is, let's make
it's-
sure if we're gonna build something, if we're gonna spend the money, let's build it
Do we want 4 stalls instead of 3?
I guess we need to determine who has stuff that
Well,
they need
because
to
our
put in there.
current drama director has at least 1 stall full of drama stuff at her house. And I know her husband would love to not have 1 stall of drama stuff at her house.
Well, maybe you said, maybe you should look at the people that we have stored stuff everywhere. How many vehicles do we need to put in there? Talk to Randy, see what he needs for vehicle storage, considering the bus depot, they use down there, and there's other units down here. If there is other need, what does he need? How many vehicle locations? And like maybe said, as a drama person, what would you need? Just take that in consideration when you go out for bids.
Yep.
Then we have
Okay.
a true number.
I think we should be looking at something like one of these commercial storage units, like Snow's have. They're
Oh.
kinda put together to be storage units.
Yeah,
They might be,
They may be even
since
cheaper.
they're already
prefab done.
prefabbed.
Yeah, and then Drama would get their own little key and entrance and could go in just to their section.
I know
That'd be nice.
I know we need at least 2 bays for vans.
Well, why need that? I think there's a sign on who made that, or where they got that from,
Yeah,
on the building.
Well, if you had a 3-car garage and then on the end of that, you had 2 bays of storage on one side and 2 on the other.
No. Anyway,
But the hope is for students to put it together next year.
if it becomes too expensive.
If
then
it's too
someone else will do
expensive
it.
to contract it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of look at both ways to see what's best.
Can we use deferred maintenance? Because
When's that?
because our we lost the space that we were using before, I don't know.
We have to ask Gwen what.
No,
the
it's,
verbiage-
no, we don't have deferred maintenance anymore now, that's long-term facility maintenance, that all rolled together, and that this is new construction. So,
I think the only thing that we may be able to do is if we have the students do it, we may get some product for free, you know, from companies
right,
for free,
mhm,
possibly or at a discount.
right.
So that would be the other thing, Kyle would be able to look at that, talk to like, you know, his buddies and other people. So you think by December we'd have something?
Drawn up?
Yeah, I know
Oh.
some ideas price-wise and things.
Sure.
Okay, so Caledonia Cooperative Agreement.
Well-
Fran, Mimi and myself went up there last night
Yeah,
and we discussed it with Caledonia for the sports. And we have soccer, boys and girls soccer with them and wrestling, that's it.
we have had gymnastics
had
in the
other
past, but
things.
no one
Right.
is interested in that right now.
And so part of their agreement, which they're not opposed to changing it, from my understanding, right, to some degree. But once you're locked into a sport, you still gotta pay, even if we don't have kids go to it. So right now, they want $1,670 per sport from us for co-op, plus half of the cost of the sport, or
No,
part of
it's
whatever
prorated
the, prorated,
by student
So-
according to the full cost.
right,
Did
so
they
there's.
get us an estimate or no?
No, I didn't get anything today.
We asked for some costs, we can get a better number, but the gist of it is if it costs $20,000 to do a sport, and we have one kid, and they have 19, we pay $1,000, plus the user fee, plus the $1,670. So for one child to do a sport in Caledonia would be $2,670, really $2,770 for one child to go up there to play soccer, because the user fee is $100.
I-
Plus, we have to get transportation to have them go up there. We'd have to cover that.
When we were doing, I'm getting the list from Gwen and actually doing what we're paying per sport. She was at a meeting today, but I'll do the total cost per sport per kid for us too, and I will get that to you in Friday's update, so that you'll see basically what we're paying per student, per sport internally. Hopefully I'll have Caledonia's numbers, so you can see what their estimation is that they're paying per student, per sport, for the sports with which we are co-oping.
So you're saying if we don't have any participants,
We still gotta pay the $1,670
and that is a year by year?
every
It's
year.
a
We sign
3-year
3-year
contract.
That,
So
okay.
basically, as soon as we sign, it's $10,000 to $12,000 for those
And
three
we're
sports for 3 years.
at that point now, or
Well, we have to decide what we're gonna do.
for the next 3 years.
And they have val, I mean, they are saying, you know, we are then offering that sport, and there's value to that.
Who else is consolidated with wrestling for them?
They don't have
No,
anybody.
we're the
Wrestling,
only-
we're the only ones, but
So-
with
Soccer is
soccer,
Spring
they have
Grove.
Spring Grove. So that cost would go down to $1,100, not $1,670,
So our,
if we would pay the co-op part.
our kids are
For
still wrestling
wrestling.
in Rushford, right?
No, we
No.
wrestle in we've wrestled in
Caledonia.
Caledonia for
Track
years.
is Rushford.
Track in Rushford. In the Rushford agreement, basically, we split the costs.
Well, we had quite a few wrestlers that would merit it, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, they've got 20 kids out for wrestling, 7 of them are Houston,
Right.
And a lot of our kids were part of their
varsity.
varsity.
Yeah,
So soccer was a question where the numbers were down for our participants?
Well, actually, the numbers are up this year. Last year, we had fewer than we have this year.
This year we have 2 boys and 4 girls.
So the numbers for soccer have gone up. It's just, the concern would be is if we have one child
Right.
going out. I mean, do we look at it like they were saying last night, we want to offer as many sports as possible in our school. We can't afford to have them all under our roof. And it's nice to be able to co-op with other schools. And we know that there's a cost to the other schools to do that. How much do we want to limit it? And Mimi, you brought this up last night, is like with the cheerleading, you know, we had 5 was the limit.
Right.
Do we want to pay $3,000 for one child to go play soccer in Caledonia? as a school.
Right.
I mean, that's realistic, and if we're willing to accept that as a board, that's what we're gonna do.
They won't do it sport by sport or year by year, huh?
No, they want a 3-year deal so they can budget out. Is their
And
plan.
the flat 1670, what they did was to look at their overhead costs. That's not the cost of the actual activities or the sports. It's the cost for their athletic director. Their athletic director has a full-time secretary. They're looking at the
Lights,
janitorial
janitorial.
fees for the events, for the
Maintenance, mowing the grass,
mhm.
keeping up the stuff. Basically, the overall cost
They should do my taxes.
for that sport. That's what they're looking at.
And then they divided that number, they've got 14 sports, and so they just took that number and divided it by 14 as if every sport required
The same cost.
equal costs for overhead. And then if it's a co-op sport with 2, they just took that number and divided it by 2. And so if it's going to be 3 schools in the co-op, then they would divide that number by 3, which
Right.
is why for soccer, instead of 1670, it would end up being,
It's like 1100 or something.
yeah, it would be 11,
Be $3,200 is what they figure it costs a year, divided by 3.
And
Right.
so what I asked him for was, since soccer's over, I asked him what would it have been per kid for soccer? So we would know, you know,
And that's
it
what
would
we're
be
trying to get the cost.
10,000 or 2,000 or whatever it would have ended up being this year for soccer. But we just asked for that yesterday, so I didn't have time to pull it together. So.
So that's where we're at with them right now.
but as I said at the meeting, I am very willing to pay our fair share because it is a value and a benefit to our kids to have that opportunity. But I don't want them making money on this.
Where are we at on the online classes that they?
That's another thing we haven't even
That didn't get
discussed.
brought up because their superintendent had to leave at 6:45 to get to his daughter's volleyball game. And so
That'll be in that, we'll have to have
that will
another
be
meeting
the
with
next
them.
one. I did have those numbers with me,
Yeah.
it just, we never had an opportunity to bring that up.
And the other thing is they'd like this done soon.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
wrestling
before
starts
wrestling.
November 13th.
It's kind of been dragging on for a while, so I think we kind of
It's
all
not
want
for
it done.
lack of emailing and trying to find dates.
No,
But the online seats will be a separate issue.
Correct.
It's just not gonna be any kind of,
right. Right. We'll have to bring that up as a separate issue.
And obviously, we have costs associated with sports here. I mean, if we have.
Right.
And that's kind of why we want to,
Our AD doesn't have a secretary, but we also follow, as we found out, we follow guidelines as far as staffing coaches as, with numbers. And they don't have the same guidelines there.
so
Because they
that's why we
had,
want to find out the cost. To get
right,
better-
because for
be able to give
wrestling, they
you
had
the-
20 kids and 4 coaches.
right, I gotcha.
Yeah, so until we get the numbers, we can't
See if
really
it's a
give
good
you,
deal.
correct.
Well,
So we
and-
want to let you know where we're at and our feelings on it from the conversations we had. So, anybody have any questions?
No, we do have a meeting though with them.
November
First,
1st, yeah.
Okay, yeah, November 1st. We're meeting with them again.
So you have input once Corinne sends you those numbers. Get it to us or send it to Ann so she can get it dispersed properly.
so I should have those numbers for you on Friday, and then let me know, and at our November 2nd meeting, we will give another public update.
Anybody have any questions, anything else? Okay. Ron, you have anything?
No.
Okay, old business, selection of board member appointee.
As you know, we had 5 interviewees at our last meeting. Each one definitely came with strengths that showed in the interviews. Each one has concerns. So at this point, I'm not sure how you want to go about selecting, so Tom? if you want to.
Throw me under the bus.
Well, there's different ways of, and I said that before when I gave information as far as the numbers from the interview. We can look at the top number getter, but then that might be skewed by someone giving a very low score. We could look at the median score, that's the highest overall score, and the highest median score were two different people. So did you want to go with numbers? Did you,
So is this in a completely an open format? There'll be no closed meeting on this?
we can't
No,
close.
we can't.
Okay, I was just
Yeah.
asking.
No, that's fine.
Good
It's a good question because some people might, that this is
I
not
mean-
something for which we can actually close.
We don't wanna offend four other people.
What? And I,
Okay,
well, number one, I would
so
hope no one would be offended, but they're, yes.
I just wanna say, I was really, I had no idea we would have such high caliber candidates apply. I went home and told Bob that I could work with any one of those 5 people. I was really impressed, so. And very happy that many high
Showed up.
caliber, yeah, that they showed up.
sat in the hot seat.
That many showed up, but the caliber too. I thought the
Yeah.
interviews were good, and we had people with a lot of various experience, and even those that didn't have that experience, they had a different perspective, which is always good to bring a different perspective and have diversity. So I thought it was great. So
Well,
my
that,
2 cents.
No, it's good.
I totally agree that I don't think there's not a bad choice, and so any one of the 5, but you guys have the decision now to make as far as.
It'd be nicer if just one applied then.
Well-
Been easier. But so where are we at in the process then
Well,
today?
right now,
No, we have to
decide, cause once we decide tonight, we pick a name, then we have
Okay.
to put it in the paper, and it's 30 days before that person can be,
the community, any voting member within District 294 can file a petition stating a vote of no confidence in the candidate appointed. We need to have that petition signed by 68 valid voters within District 294, and they've got 30 days to submit that by 4:30 on November 17th. And then if we get that petition, then we start over with, okay, this one got voted down by the community, and then we go, I would say we would just go to one of the other,
second getter.
4
whoever.
candidates, because they are all solid.
Mhm.
Yep.
Honestly, I can't imagine a petition coming, but we have to let the
But that's
community
the way
know
the
that
rules are.
that is their right.
Protocol, so.
Mhm.
So we can go off of just numbers alone, when everybody needs their votes as far as, strengths, weaknesses, you have all the balance.
With me?
Yeah.
No, but I remember the numbers.
So you said there's 2 people that tied for as far as the score?
No, there was one person that had 83 points, 2 had 72, 1 had 58, 1 had 53. One of the ones tied at 72 had the highest overall median. So if you take off the 2 top and the 2 bottom and just look at the median score, one of the 72s had the highest median score of 18 out of a possible 20.
So it's kind of our decision as a board. Would you guys rather do it by overall? Or by? I mean, none of the candidates would not be a good asset to the school.
Well, it sounds like that score, there is definitely one that is numbers above. I can appreciate what you're saying though, the mean on the one.
You mean all the candidates would be, any of the candidates would be a good asset to the school.
Right.
Well,
Very good asset.
because if we just open it up, then you're dissecting each one, and then you're just more or less having an open
Right.
discussion on each person, so it might be better to just go with what we put down, and since we're 83 to 72 is quite a gap. Now,
Explain exactly the difference between the median and going with the
The person who had the highest median, so if you rank all the scores from each of the 5 interviewers, and you just take the bottom 2 out and the top 2 out, that median one that's their median score. The person that had the highest median score also had the lowest individual score from one of the interviewers. And so then if you get one low score, it really skews the overall average. It's why we tell a kid, never blow off an assignment, because a 0 really messes up your average. It's the same kind of thing. An F at 59 points and an F at 0 points, that 0 points, it shoots you right out of the water.
So are you saying the top person had a low score by
No,
someone?
the person that had the 83 didn't really have any.
Somebody that had
Low
72
scores.
got a low score on
Okay,
one.
got it.
Right.
So
And-
what, if for argument's sake, what you could do is you would take all 5, and if you removed their lowest score out of the 5, then you would see another. You're eliminating their lowest score.
Right.
Even if we eliminated the lowest score, the one that got the high score would still be the high score.
Thank you, Corinne.
And did everyone at the table rank that person highest? I don't know if you know that, if you looked at that. Just curious, if we did an order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, was that person at the top on everyone's?
Yes.
It seems like going with the person with the highest ranking,
Yeah.
Gary, your thoughts?
And that just firms it up when she said if you even remove that lowest score, that person would still be above. So if you were want to skew it with that one person was against one candidate.
Right.
The person with the highest score got 2 perfects,
Okay.
got 2 20s out of 20.
Well, I'm curious.
Did you?
I think before
You
you,
have caffeine
know
before you
what the
came
point
tonight.
system is, we should decide, if we're gonna go with the highest score person.
And
It sounds like that's what everybody wants to do.
I don't know why we wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that was fresh on our minds, and as we met them after
Mm-hmm.
following the hot seat interview, and so.
That sounds like everybody is on board for that, correct, Ron? I want to just make sure everybody's
I'm
good. Okay. So we go with the highest score.
envelope, please.
well, you know who the high score is.
No, you do.
No,
No, that's why we're all curious.
I
Do none of you read the board updates?
No, I
Well,
did.
then, thank you!
I read it, but
I didn't see it in
No,
there.
I mean,
know who it
I'm
is.
not that good at reading them,
No,
and I
I
know.
never saw it in
No,
there.
it was in there.
I thought you were gonna hand out a summary like you
Oh.
had on the board update,
Yeah.
so we
Okay.
could review it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. It was Jean Lundeck.
Okay.
So you gonna notify Jean?
Yes, and notify the
Yeah,
community.
the paper is right here.
Yes, that,
or do we need a motion on that?
yes, we do.
I'll move that we, appoint Gene Monday.
Okay, we have a motion by Ron. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Gary. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, and so now, I want to publicly thank all 5 people who applied. It's just, as a community, we are incredibly fortunate that we have candidates of that caliber. But as I said, if we have a petition signed by 68 registered voters out of District 294, then
Well, yeah. What would be nice, and I'm just gonna say this, is when we're electing, looking for school board members, it'd be nice to have 5 people apply. To
yeah,
let the community be part of that whole.
right.
Because I don't think since I've been on the board, which has been a couple of years, that we've had that many people.
No.
And that was nice, that's like you said, and have good caliber, I mean, good quality people apply. I mean, we just haven't had that since I've been on the board, that I remember. So it'd be nice if those people are looking to
Mhm.
think about that.
Absolutely.
Right, Gary?
Yep, absolutely.
So, because it is a rewarding job. Like it, like Gary. Right?
Absolutely.
It is.
I swear I didn't see it that big.
You've enjoyed your stay, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Anyway, it was a good time.
um,
Okay, moving right along, US Bank grant for the city.
You've got the letter from Chris Peterson explaining that, when talking to US Bank Places to Play program, it's, many times school districts, will actually apply for the grant on the, for the city. And so it's just asking that we would offer, that support, that they could apply for the grant with our name. The only thing that they will apply for is the amount that city council is willing to support, so we'll have absolutely no financial commitment at all with this. The Mission 66 group for the playground in the city, there will be handicapped accessible swings within that, and I know the question before has been partnerships between the city and the school. Oftentimes, we have things going on in the community center and they never charge us for that. So there are things where the city does help us out. I know our dance group has met and practiced in the community center when we've got other things going on in the cafeteria and they have no place to practice, so.
Drama did too, I think, this year.
Yes. So they have helped us, so
So do we need a motion to
Please.
approve this? Motion by Ron,
Second.
second by me.
And this
Discussion?
is, there's no financial obligation to us.
there's no financial, nor are we liable for anything with this.
Do we get a letter to that effect or something?
Yes. Yes, so, and we will get that when the city, we're actually meeting before city council does. And so I will call Chris tomorrow and say, tell city council on Monday at their meeting that we approved it. And then when the city council approves it, they will have that letter for us, releasing us from any financial or legal responsibility.
Okay. So, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, RAMSP participation.
I did talk to Sarah Ness from Southeast Service Co-op, and I talked to the principals about it. The mobile lab is the exact same mobile lab we are already getting, and they don't have anything with robotics. I asked if they were planning on getting anything with robotics, and that's not on the docket yet. Talked to the principals, and they weren't so sure that, looking at the cost, that we would get the real benefit from this yet. They wanted to wait to see and talk to the La Crescent teachers after this year to see if the La Crescent teachers or the Leroy teachers, because those are the two schools that are kind of out of the Rochester circle that are now involved in it, to see if the La Crescent teachers really felt like they got the benefit from being involved.
When do we need to decide by?
We could
At any
join
time?
at any time,
Oh, okay.
and it's
But
just
the teachers are recommending wait.
the
So
principals
we don't
are
have to
saying
decide
let's,
today.
right,
We
the
just put it
principals are
on.
saying let's, maybe, we'll revisit this one maybe in March for joining next year if the La Crescent teachers feel that it was really something that benefited them. But the big thing that I liked was the mobile lab, and I thought it was something better than what we're already getting, and it's exactly what we're already, because Marty took the class, Marty Momsen took the class, so we're already getting mobile app.
It would be nice if they would build a program like they have in other areas with more of those things that,
Yeah.
high-tech sorts of things. So maybe if we tell them that if they expand their,
The Lakes
Offering.
Country Co-op that's up by Brainerd had the little robotics ones.
yeah, because that sort of stuff is really useful. But, so,
Maybe you can, when you talk to him, maybe you can tell him that and see what they
I
say.
did
Oh,
talk
did you
to
already?
Sarah about that and say, that would be something that would really be a deciding factor for us to join.
And then maybe the Crescent and the other schools would throw that in there too. Hey, can you do this? Maybe we can collectively. Okay, so we're gonna discuss it in March.
Yes.
Policies for second reading. Michaeline's not here, so Ron, you have any? Is there any-
And all the principals got these, and we talked through them, even though they would seem to be policies that are addressing more of the on-site schools than the online, we do have to remember that, there are a lot of, community building events where the online kids are on different sites and meeting in different places, so these policies do impact them as well. So, but Angela didn't see anything that she thought was of a concern,
So we wanna approve these tonight.
please.
So do we have a motion to approve policy 501, 502, 505, 507, and 511?
I'll move for that.
Ron,
I'll second that.
in a second. Further discussion on the policies? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. New business, items for discussion and approval. Board member as a bus driver. Sounds almost like a comedy show.
Well, I'm sure it would be.
With you.
No,
Thanks.
our transportation director, as you noticed that earlier in the board meeting, you approved a resignation of one of our bus drivers. And our transportation director is trying to make sure that all the routes are covered. And if we take one of the substitutes and see if he can take a route consistently, that leaves us short one of the subs, and we needed all the subs we had for the spring routes. And because we've got baseball going one place, softball going another place, the track bus, we've got in the spring buses going all over the place, and we needed to have the substitutes. So now that we're depleting that, Randy reached out to our fearless leader, Tom Stillen, and asked, and Tom said he would be willing to,
Said I would look at it.
you said you would be willing to get your bus license. However, for a board member to have a job within the district takes a unanimous vote by the board. And he, according to policy 210, could not earn more than $8,000 in the capacity of a substitute bus driver. And unfortunately, what we pay our bus drivers, there's not a chance of him even getting close to that. So he's not doing it to get rich, he's doing it as a favor, because he loves our school. But we do
I have
need,
nothing else to do. Yeah, right.
Do we make a motion on this or?
please.
Do we need to have the full board for that?
Oh, yeah.
It just said a unanimous vote of those in it, and so it would be a unanimous vote of those in attendance. And I know that we're depleted because we are waiting for the appointee to be,
Michaeline's not here.
and Michaeline's not here, but I think if it's,
I vote yes, it's all right for Tom.
well, we need a motion first.
I'll make a motion that it's okay for a board member to drive that bus.
Okay?
Second by Gary. Discussion? Okay?
Are you gonna do like a regular route?
No, I don't know. All he'd call me up and asked, and I've driven bus, I had a license for 23 years before, when I was in the Air Force. Just because I drove sometimes. But and he knew that, and he asked if I wanted to renew it, so he said I would think about it.
So you'd be like a sub though?
Sub, so if they couldn't get a hold of whoever.
Well, thanks.
Okay, you want me to call it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Please note that motion carried unanimously.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Okay, announcements, point events.
We did get the email about the Minnesota School Board Association January conference. We can now start making our arrangements for that, so start looking at your calendar, and I don't have the date right off the head. Look at your MSBA mailings to see if that's something.
I don't remember seeing one yet, have you seen one?
The MSBA
The
board,
mailings, I haven't seen it. Come on,
the
mailings.
MSBA board newsletter just came out 2 days ago.
I haven't seen it. So, people wanna go. That it for important events? Meeting and committee updates, we talked about the facility meeting and updated everybody on that. I don't know that there was any other meetings.
The
Oh, the Caledonia one,
and
we
we've already
updated
talked
that one
about that.
too, so. Thanks, Dan.
This meeting next Monday night? Is it next Monday?
Oh, Hiawatha Valley Ed board meeting, and I have Ron and Gary are the two that said that they wanted to go. So I let Deb Marcotte know that
Oh, Monday night, that's the 30th. isn't
the
it?
23rd,
23rd, okay.
the 23rd is at Rushford.
Maybe I'll go. What time you leaving?
I've got another meeting, so I can't go.
What time you guys?
Oh, it's, what is it, 6?
I think it's 6 o'clock.
Or at 5:30 then.
And if you wanna go, I need to pre-register you, and it
Okay.
was supposed to be done by Monday at noon, but I will.
That was last Monday.
Oh. I wasn't around, so, sorry.
Maybe you didn't read that in the update.
Have you seen their new school yet?
Our new school, we don't have a new school.
No,
Rushford,
Rushford.
yes, I was there.
Oh,
I've been there.
that's a big draw to them hosting it there.
Yeah, I'm sure for $30-some million it should.
54.
50, oh, thank you. Okay, so, well, if you can get me on the list, let me know.
Okay, sure, I will.
Anything else? For me to put out there? Okay, you have a motion to adjourn?
Well,
Oh.
actually, are you doing C? Or-
Yeah.
I was just wondering for future agenda items, we had that board review session, the board workshop, and we had action items from that.
Oh.
Like create a strategic planning committee and various things. Can we get those on the agenda?
Sure.
And then also, I had sent an email, asking for like the major changes in each school and was hoping we could rotate through on those and kind of roll, so maybe we could start with online school and what the changes are so the board is aware, and then go to the high school and elementary or however you wanna do it, but I think we should talk about it at the beginning of the year and then hear how it's going mid-year and get an update at
We
the
brought up
end.
something that was that Todd math.
Right,
That
Yep.
was one of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the year, and he was supposed to give us a briefing as it progressed.
Alex,
Yeah,
okay,
thank you.
So it'd be nice to get that on the agenda so that, and they don't need to be all in the same meeting, but maybe
No.
one meeting Angela's here, another one's Todd's here, and another one's Rick's
Cause
here.
you're right, there was a few things that we talked about at the beginning of the year that we were gonna get updates,
I will
so get with them and see what.
get a schedule together for that. And also, I know you've talked about me, needing to speak to the community more. Would you, support me maybe on the 4th Tuesday of the month or something, having going downtown and saying that I'm having coffee somewhere downtown and just like an open forum. Is that something that you would
No, that'd be a
support?
good idea. Put it in the paper, and maybe people would show up and talk.
Is there a date you think would work better, a place you think would work better?
Well,
You could probably rotate the
rotate
place.
it, I was gonna say, your best bet would be to rotate the place, you know, if you're gonna do it at like, I mean, we only have 2 locations, right? Like you do it
There's
at the
chamber
Legion.
meetings,
In chamber meeting,
they just had one, I don't know when they have another one, but
but
I've been
sometimes the chamber
sometimes.
meeting may not be the,
Would you think during the day, like a morning coffee, or
Yeah.
when do you think I would
we're
get,
not all retired.
Oh,
when do you think I'd find the most people?
well, there again, you might wanna rotate that too.
Well, if people need to know where I'm going to be and when.
I think if
for
you did
them
in the evening, you know, like at 5 o'clock or 4, 'cause after work time,
Okay.
I'm thinking just for participation.
You'd have Carlson's, Baristas, Sub-Zero, would you do?
Well, we're not open any of those times.
But she could do it, no way, you could go on a Saturday or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, whatever.
That's your scheduling, obviously, I'm not.
Well, yeah, that's just, maybe I'll put a schedule together and.
yeah, see what we can and get it out to the paper.
Okay,
I think it'd be a good idea, the more you get out there, the better off, and people know you're there to ask questions, concerns, or ideas.
Okay.
And you can brief us.
yeah,
You know, during the day it does work for a goodly number of people besides retired.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people that I see
Runs all the things.
in baristas.
You know, farmers and things.
Sure. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of people out
well, maybe Ron will talk to you about where the most people are and when, and come up with a schedule.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect. Okay, anything else?
you've gotta be on a chain day.
Yeah,
so-
I know.
Okay,
I know. I already forewarned him I'd be coming, so,
there. Gonna make it.
yeah. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Oh.
I was waiting patiently recently, I know where Craig's going. Did it go all
no,
right?
and Tom
Sheets.
come in and talk
On
to him
Monday,
too.
Yeah.
And so,
I have volleyball